Welcome back to Scones, Poetry and Tea. I am Kareen Latoya. So yeah, today I'm giving you real tea time vibes. Alright, let me get rid of this. Just so we can get rid of the glare. You know, blue light refraction. Alright, cool. Alright, so yeah, welcome back. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining once again. You are beautiful beings. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Alright, so the noise you're hearing in the background, if you can hear it, is a Hoover. Nothing else. Guys, this is the first time I'm actually filming whilst it's dark outside. Oh. Okay, cool. So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, what can I say? Scones, Poetry and Tea is really me just reading pieces and explaining, giving you the backstory of the pieces. So this book right here is called Free, and best of you. And it's my first book. It's now 5 years old. And this book right here is called Naked Lenses. Once again, better view. Okay. And this book is 2 years old. It's going to be 3 in November. I promise you, one of these days, I will start looking directly at the camera. I do have a style of just looking all over the place. So I apologize. I really do apologize. The first piece in pain is called As Good as Dead. Go. Take that sip. Alright, so for the first time I'm going to tell you what I'm drinking. This is really just peppermint oil drops and honey. It tastes good. But it's strong. Oh, my eyes, it's strong. Ooh. Yeah, it's strong. Like, it burns my eyes because it's actually peppermint oil, the drops, and not the bush, peppermint bush. It's the drops. Cool. So, why did I even bother? His mother cries as she parts her lips once more to inject her lungs with the nicotine-flavoured meal she now lives on. You are ungrateful and a total waste of space, she continues to rant, glaring at him as though he was nothing more than dirt, leaving him to fend for comfort, wishing his day of escape would arrive sooner rather than later. I should have killed you when they told me I was pregnant with you. Watching her every move, he tries to understand why his mother wasn't like the others. He was lost for words and filled with tears. Just look at you. As pathetic as your father you are. She stands from her seat, with a bottle in one hand, currently taking a swig of what he knows tastes awful. She snarls, causing him to jump. You ruined my life. I have nothing because I kept you. She continues to remind him that he is to be blamed for the hold placed on her life. Why couldn't she do anything? The other children's mummies were still able to work. Come here, you good-for-nothing life-sucking thing, she barks, inching closer to him, grabbing his shirt, pulling him towards her, shoving the bottle in his mouth, forcing him to drink. This was her punishment for him being alive. Drink it, She screams as he refuses the bottle. He was only 7 years old, with his liver making its way to becoming that of someone who has been an alcoholic for as long as they can remember. So, I wrote that piece very, very, very many years ago. I can't tell you when exactly, but I do know it was very many years ago because I was still in secondary school. Wait, no, pause. I was still in secondary school. And I say that because I read A Boy Called It and A Boy Called It or A Child Called It. I'm going to find that out. And I'm going to find that out because I'm now going to put it here. So, yeah. I think it's A Child Called It. I think the book was called A Child Called It. And funny story, I actually do have that book downstairs on the bookshelf. So I read that book and then I read Ugly. And it was around that time, when it starts playing on your mind now, like, oh my gosh, these things happen. So there's also an author called Jodi Picoult. I think, let's see, have I got any of the books on this shelf? No, I don't. I really don't. All right, no, I haven't got. But is that one of them? No, it's not. When you have to just double check the bookshelf because you haven't got your glasses on. Oh man. Yeah, it's fine. It's alright. Again, no glasses. Okay, cool. Let's get back to it. So I think it's Jodi Picoult. She writes a lot about child abuse as well, in just very a lot of different forms, varied forms. That's what I wanted to say. So just a lot of those books, and reading a lot of those books, and you start learning about child abuse, and it allowed my mind to wander and start realizing that some parents really don't want their children, so because of that they start inflicting pains upon their children. And I started thinking about mothers who no longer work because of their child and they use the child as an excuse. That's all that piece is. So yeah, that's the first one for pain. When you would think that I'm used to this now because this is now video number 3, episode number 3. I should be used to scones. No, clearly not. All right, moving on. The next piece is called All Gone. Trigger warning. This is also child abuse, so yeah. If you need to just jump forward, that's absolutely okay. I completely understand. But yeah, this piece is called All Gone, and yeah. No, I'm gonna tell you what this piece is about before I actually go into this piece. Again, another child abuse, now child molestation, and more incest. The things that no one wants to talk about, those lovely stories that we know about but we shy away from them. Yeah, let's just not say anything about it. If we don't talk about it, it will disappear. It never happened, love. These stories. So that's what it is. It's to kind of shed light to these things happening, especially within families, either your nuclear family or your immediate family, as in you're at home, with these primary individuals or your external family. It could be cousins, it could be aunts, uncles, grandparents, and yeah, or even family friends. But this piece is more between the children. And I didn't mention siblings as well. So, again, if you feel that you need to skip, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. If you feel that this is going to trigger you, do not put yourself through it to say, yeah, I'm strong enough. Don't do it. If you know you're not ready for it and there's a possibility of a trigger, just on to the next one. Did you know he touched her last night? She'd been robbed of her innocence when he told her it was a game he learnt from his older brother. He didn't know what happened to him was known to the elders as sexual abuse, but he still acted out what he knew as he taught her this game. She exposed her to that which you wanted her to be sheltered from. She said it was okay because that's what she watched at home with the other kids and the man her mother called baby. He introduced her, then she introduced your daughter. This world we live in has become poisonous, and our children's vulnerable minds naively accept games which are painted with sexual abuse and lured to their doom. Did you know he would take a peek, whilst his brother would watch porn and slowly learn things he thought was right to be tried on other girls in the playground? Our children are being exposed to sexual behaviors from a tender age, so as they grow older they fail to see the line between that which is wrong and right because their sight was stolen. The innocence of a child is stolen at a young age, yet parents are unable to tell, for their children have become great pretenders in a world filled with thieves who snatches innocence. Yeah, that is literally that piece. So, a lesson I've just learned. When you're drinking tea, actually drink the tea and don't try to bite the cup or anything. At least know where your mouth is. Yeah, I hit my teeth against the cup. Oh, I forgot my pinky this week. Sorry, Nai. I apologize, baby girl. This piece is called S-ide. And it is: to those who wish to take their lives, there is at least one individual out there who cares enough to listen to you and try to help you. However, you first need to find the words to ask for help. Now, before I do get into this piece, I do understand that it isn't as easy as saying, yo, I need help. But yeah, it's finding that strength. And it's finding that strength within to reach out to at least one person. That person doesn't have to be your parent. It doesn't have to be a sibling. That person could essentially be, if you're at work, it could be a counsellor attached to your services, like someone within the wellbeing team. And if you're a young person in school, again, you may find it difficult to speak to your parents. Just do know any adult, if you speak to someone at school or within like youth services or anything like that, any service that you're attached to, which is like an external service, they will need to speak to your parents because of the nature. Now, if it's a thing where it's one of your parents, that if there is anything like to do with abuse or whatever, if it is like your parents, then the school will speak to, or whomever, whichever adult you from whatever organization you're attached to, they won't speak to your parents, if that makes sense. So they're doing things within, like, for your best interest, with your interest at heart, um, but do speak to someone, um, because there will be that one person who will understand, who will listen to you. And sometimes you may not need to have someone talking at you. You may just need to have someone listen to you. And that person, whomever is your confidant, whomever you put your trust in, they'll be able to assist with your healing process, even if it's just a simple hug. So yeah. So I feel like I haven't really given a backstory to it, but I've just, yeah, that's a whole, you know. You never realize how many people are affected until you try to do something like that. You go to extremes with your emotions, making decisions, forgetting about everyone else around, for no one else seems to matter. And you feel as though you are on your own. The pain-free, carefree, simple life you had suddenly comes crashing down, taking over, shoving your logical views aside, cunningly blocking your vision, sliding them out of your mind's window, making you forget. Making you forget that people like me do care about you. The people like me who are your family and friends, we cared about you. We wanted to be there for you, but you forgot and instead shut us out. Now we are left with guilt and pain as we missed all signs, so missed the opportunity to help. And I'm not trying to push the blame onto you, but I wish you had said something before it got to this point, and now nothing can be done because it is too late. It is too late for me to run to your side to tell you how much I love you, how special you are, how much you mean to me and everyone else around, for me to take your hands, to try to talk you out of it, to take the drink from your lips, to pump the pills from your stomach, to take the knife from your wrist, to loosen the noose from your neck. It is too late. It is too late, because here you are, being lowered into a grave, gone but never will be forgotten. Your legacy will remain, and I will tell my children everything about you. I will let them know how much you helped me, teach them about the mistakes we made together and the laughs that we shared. I will also tell them about the pain I felt, the day I learnt about your death, for them to know your freedom still left broken hearts behind. You forgot that we still loved you. And now it's too late, because the past can't be rewound. It's too late. And you have left broken hearts behind. So that's that one as well. Right. So, no, I've never lost anyone to suicide. But over the years, I've had friends who have attempted suicide. So I do know, like, what it's like to have someone who is struggling with it. And like one friend in particular, I used to see it, like see all, not even just one, couple of friends. I've seen I've seen the marks on their wrists. Um, like one, like I used to see it fresh on her wrists in school. Um, so it is one of those things for me. Like I know, I feel like I understand. No, I know what it's like to see someone go through it. To see someone having this battle between themselves and life. And I won't say life and death, it's more themselves and life, and just everything else that life has thrown onto them, which they felt that they just can't deal with. So yeah, that was difficult. I must admit that one was difficult. And I wrote this. I don't remember what. I really don't remember when I wrote this, and it's difficult for me to say it was around this time or it was around that time. But I do believe it was mid-teens, not so much late teens. I don't think I was 17, 18 as yet when I had written this. I could have been. And then there was at this time, there were a lot of news reports about young people committing suicide. A lot. When I say a lot. So remember I was telling you about knife crime, gang crime? Yeah. Yeah, gang crime. Remember I was telling you about that? How you're always hearing about deaths of young people because it's all gang crime, it's all gang related, all gang related. There was a period where it was a lot about suicide. There was so much about suicide, like suicide rate in young people over the years. I didn't want it to be like, oh, this is going to be about suicide. I wanted to just leave it for people to just read through it and figure out and see what was gonna reveal. At that point I wasn't thinking about trigger warnings or anything like that. It was just, these things need to be spoken about. I need to get my voice out. I need to speak. And yeah, but now I'm more aware. Now I am more aware. So yeah. Where is it? All right, we're gonna have another moment. Oh, that wasn't very smooth at all. All right, this piece, I remember when I wrote this piece. Not the year, but I remember why I wrote this piece. I'll tell you. It's called Laid. Alright, so this piece is called Laid. She didn't choose the life of a sex slave. Instead, she was bought and raised amongst women who were sold for less than their worth. She wanted a life to be a wife. Instead, she was forced to be a walking dead. Cocaine in her veins, she injects her pain away. She was just like us, living with a bright smile until she met that man who changed her life. Told her he loved her, and to prove it, she was to sleep with his friends, then men who he had just met. She's a sex slave. Has nothing to put on her resume, for her only job was to lay in whatever position she was instructed to be. And we see her on the corner, turn our noses up, saying it's her mess, it's for her to clean up, and walk right on. Alright. Hold on, bear with me a second. Yeah, that's it. So, I read a book. Can't remember the name of the book. I feel like this book was called Red. May not have been Red. But this book was about a young lady who was living here in the UK, saw an advert in the newspaper or something about a job in Amsterdam as a teacher. She was happy about that. All right, cool, let's pack up and go to Amsterdam. So she went to Amsterdam. When she got to Amsterdam, things went awry. It just went off. Just, yeah. So it wasn't as to plan. Her family didn't really hear from her. She ended up becoming a sex slave. Special Victims Unit. You see that show there? I was watching a lot of that as well. I know I was in uni when I wrote this piece, and I feel like this piece was written around 2009, 2010, round about there. And the reason why I say that is because I remember I had put something about it on Facebook. Thank you, Facebook, for reminding me a while back. But I had put something on Facebook, and someone from uni during that time replied to me about it. I was like, oh, I just read this book, da da da. I can actually, the funniest thing is I can actually remember being in the sitting room when I was reading this book and like writing a piece as well. So I definitely like that memory is really vivid. So yeah, from that Special Victims Unit, I was talking about different sex crimes and stuff that happen. So these things, right, once they start playing on your like creativity, that field of creativity is crazy, because then you just start working and curating different things and all sorts. So that's where that piece came from. Not that I know anyone personally who had been through that. And like prostitution as well. I was hearing a lot about that when I was in uni. So when I went to university, like for my 20, oh, was it my 20? I think my 22nd, friends threw me a surprise party. And one of the guys was at the door just dancing. I think actually two of the guys, and I think they were like, there was some woman outside or whatever not, and they were just like signaling to her, whatever, they were entertaining her. So one of the boys got locked out of the house, like he had stepped out, so push up the door or whatever not, he got locked out. And I don't think the door was like fully closed. Don't know what this brother ran in the house, fam. He ran in like shook. He was like, no, she was coming. It was just like, that's what you get. But yeah, just different things. It's like just a thought of, all right, so we see these women, we don't know their story, but we give them the story and we say, it's your problem, it's your business. I'm not even going to turn a blind eye to try and understand you, hear you out or anything. I don't want to be involved. What you're doing is, these are the taboo subjects. I have gone through things which are taboo, like you're taboo. Let's not talk about it. Oh my gosh. If you talk about it, then how dare. Yeah, it's just crazy. And these are the things that we should be talking about, because if we want a world, if we say that we are here for purity and we are for humanity, and if you class yourself as someone who does care for people, and you love people, and you want to see people flourish, and you want to see people win and all of this, how about the next person you see on the road? How about them? Do you want to see them win as well, even though you do not know them, even though you do not know their life story? You may find out that, some of these people, they just need someone to listen. They need someone to understand their story. And you may realize that their past isn't that far from your present. It's just what's happened in between to get them to where they are. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you. So, You know the deal. You know it. So, like, share, subscribe. Not forgetting Instagram. Follow me and connect with me. Talk to me. Let me know. Leave some comments as well. Hello. But make sure you do whatever's on your mind. If you want to share something with me, go for it. I do not mind. Like, I'm here. Talk to me. Tell me what's on your mind. But once again, thank you for tuning in to Scones, Poetry and Tea. Big up yourself. Have a beautiful rest of the week. Up to next week. Let's call it a beautiful week, because obviously next week, Thursday, again, it may not be the same time, but it's gonna be on Thursday. But thank you so much. I appreciate you for stopping by. Bye.